Nanda's gaze snapped to the hourglass symbol as it began to glow with a golden light. The illumination intensified, pulsating with energy, and the ground beneath her shifted. The stone walls of the temple blurred and rippled like water, and suddenly she was no longer inside. Though this time she did not find it unexpected. There was no shock, only a deep sense of knowing that she had been transported into the very heart of time. The air was thick with the sensation of the past. The scent of history was almost tangible, like dust from forgotten eras lifting in a gust of wind. She found herself standing in a bustling marketplace, a vibrant scene filled with life and activity. Merchants called out to passers-by, their voices rising above the rich aromas of fresh bread and fragrant incense wafting through the air. The chatter of villagers filled the atmosphere, a symphony of haggling and laughter mingling with the sounds of children playing. The sun hung high in the sky, casting long shadows across the dirt paths that wound between mud brick homes and stalls overflowing with exotic fruits, colorful spices, and vibrant textiles. The lively energy of the place was contagious. It was a celebration of life, of people coming together in the simple pleasures of existence. Nanda's senses tingled with wonder, the vibrancy of life around her awakening something deep within. "This place, it's alive," she murmured, her eyes wide as she absorbed the intricate details of her surroundings. Every face she saw, every motion in the crowd, felt like a unique thread woven into the larger tapestry of the world. However, her awe quickly twisted into dread as she noticed the sky above beginning to darken unnaturally. The blue sky, once clear and welcoming, was now overcast with dark, threatening-looking clouds. A particularly heavy one loomed, curling from the edges of the village, and panic erupted as shadowy figures, shampoo soldiers, emerged from the gloom, wreaking havoc on everything in their path. The marketplace, once a hub of community, spiraled into chaos. Nanda's heart raced as she realized she was witnessing a pivotal moment in history, the day Shampoo's forces attacked, a turning point that would reverberate through time, altering lives forever. The realization struck her like a hammer to the chest. "No, this can't be happening," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the din of screams and shouts. Not like this. The chaos around her was overwhelming. The clash of metal, the cries of pain and fear, the sounds of destruction all filled the air with a heavy, almost unbearable weight. In this moment, she knew that history was not a calm, linear progression. It was jagged, full of moments of destruction that altered everything that came after. Suddenly, understanding washed over her. This trial wasn't merely about observing the past. It was about confronting the chaos that history often buries beneath its surface. The familiar voice of Horus echoed in her mind. "You must learn to navigate the delicate threads of time." Nanda inhaled deeply, grappling with the enormity of her responsibility. "I can't let this village fall to ruin, but how can I act without jeopardizing the future? If I alter events too drastically, the consequences could be disastrous." Each heartbeat resonated with urgency as she searched for a solution. She had always felt a connection to the fabric of time, but now it seemed to surge through her veins. The weight of her responsibility was crushing, and yet she knew there was no turning back. She was a witness and a participant, and she had to make a choice. The hourglass symbol materialized in the sky, 3D and shimmering, showering her with golden sand. Each grain glinted with the weight of history. Nanda's instincts sharpened. She had to move quickly, but with purpose. Her eyes locked onto the village's central well, where Shampoo's soldiers were gathering, preparing to set fire to the nearby homes. The cries of children echoed in her ears, their fear unmistakable. A visceral need to protect them surged within her, to prevent this village from succumbing to the same fate that had already been sealed. "Not on my watch," Nanda declared, her voice steadying as she prepared herself for action. With determination coursing through her, she tensed and darted toward the well, her paws light on the dirt. She wove through the panicked villagers, her sleek black form blending into the shadows. The market had turned into a chaotic whirlwind, but she moved with purpose, her heart guiding her steps. Each rush of adrenaline fueled her resolve. She could prevent this destruction, but she had to be precise. One misstep, and she could unravel everything. As she neared the well, she spotted a soldier striking a torch against the stone, preparing to ignite the stalls. The flames would spread quickly, consuming the village and sealing its fate. "I can't stop everything," Nanda thought, her green eyes narrowing in focus. But I can delay. I can slow the collapse just enough. Without a second thought, she leapt at the soldier, knocking the torch from his hand with a swift swipe of her paw. The torch clattered to the ground, its flames sputtering out. The soldier stumbled back, startled, his hand reaching for his sword. Too slow, Nanda muttered under her breath, darting behind a stack of crates. She had bought the villagers time, but she needed to ensure they used it wisely. Time was a fragile thing. It could slip away in the blink of an eye, and once it was gone, it could never be reclaimed. As she caught her breath, her ears perked at the cries of children nearby. Turning her attention toward an alley behind the well, she spotted 3 small figures huddled together in terror. Nanda's chest tightened at the sight. They were so young, so frightened, with wide eyes reflecting the chaos around them. "Hey there, little ones," she whispered, crouching low to their level. "You don't need to be afraid. But we have to move. Now." She felt an urge to comfort them, to instill hope in their trembling hearts. Her body, though small and agile, felt every weight of the responsibility pressing down on her. She had no choice but to help. The eldest boy, his tear-filled eyes mirroring her own determination, nodded shakily. "Where do we go?" His voice was barely above a whisper, thick with fear. Nanda's whiskers twitched in thought as she scanned the surroundings for a safe route. "Follow me to the western gate. Take the path behind the merchant's house. It'll get you out of the village before the soldiers close it off." She kept her voice calm and steady, projecting confidence. Her heart pounded in her chest. She knew that they were running out of time, but she couldn't let that fear infect the children. They needed hope, and she would give them all that she had. "But what about our parents?" One of the younger girls whimpered, her small voice breaking, eyes wide with worry. "What if they don't find us?" Nanda's heart ached at the question, her mind racing. "I promise they'll be okay," she said, her voice soft yet firm. "We need to move fast. If we stick together, we'll find a way to keep you safe." She knew her words were a fragile promise, but she felt the weight of responsibility pressing on her shoulders. The children needed to escape, but she couldn't promise that the world would be whole again when they returned. The children hesitated, fear keeping them rooted to the spot. "I've faced worse than this," Nanda assured them, her tone a mix of strength and softness. "You can too if you run. Trust me." Now, she felt a flicker of hope within her. If she could guide them, perhaps they could escape the devastation ahead. The boy blinked, determination igniting in his gaze. He grabbed the hands of the 2 younger ones, tugging them forward. "Okay. Stick close and don't look back." With that, they scurried into the shadows, disappearing from view just as one of the soldiers rounded the corner toward Nanda. She tensed, preparing to make another move, but something deep within urged her to hold back. She had done enough here. Intervening further might cause too great a ripple. The memory of Horace's words echoed in her mind. The past is a delicate thing. "Fine," she thought, retreating into the shadows. "But that doesn't mean I have to like it." The soldier passed without seeing her, and Nanda's gaze followed the children until they vanished into the distance. A mix of relief and sorrow washed over her. The village would still fall, but at least those children had a chance. Nanda remained hidden, watching as chaos unfolded around her. Villagers tried to defend their homes, but the soldiers pushed forward, their movements cold and calculated. Nanda's heart ached as she witnessed the destruction and despair. The very essence of the village's spirit threatened to be extinguished. With each moment, the once vibrant community became a battleground of shattered dreams and lost innocence. It was the unraveling of something precious, and she could do nothing but bear witness. As the hourglass symbol glowed brighter, the golden sand swirling around her grew faster, enveloping her completely. The world blurred again, the noise of the marketplace fading into silence, and in an instant, the bustling scene vanished, replaced once more by the stone walls of the temple. Nanda stood in the center of the chamber, her heart still pounding, the weight of her choices pressing down on her like a heavy shroud. She felt a storm of emotions, satisfaction mingled with frustration, relief tinged with helplessness. The hourglass symbol faded, and the voice echoed through the chamber once again, its tone grave. "You have passed the trial of the past, but be warned, what is done cannot always be undone." Mild annoyance flickered within her. "Tell me something I don't know. Maybe a tip on how to save the world next time?" She shot back, irritation creeping into her tone. The voice didn't reply, and its disapproval seemed to linger in the air. Nanda took a deep breath, steadying herself against the weight of her emotions. All right, fine. I did what I could. She squared her shoulders, her eyes flicking toward the second pillar, the one adorned with the scales, where balance would demand its own reckoning.